$13 trillion coming to XRP. Is this real? And how that could affect XRP's price by the year 2035? Is $500 per XRP on the table? Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, moneymakers. So I recently saw two tweets, not four, two tweets from a very interesting person that I have been following for a while. And he talked about two specific things, which I want to go over in this video and talk about with you about XRP. Now, currently XRP, when I'm recording this video, is at $1.43. By the time you watch this video, maybe XRP is at a totally different price. So I just want to emphasize that things can change by the time you watch this video. Maybe it will be an evergreen video and people will see it also 6 months from now, a year from now. I don't know. But potentially we could see 13 trillion payments set to flow into XRPL just starting in the Q3 of 2026, right? And this is from Vincent Van Code. He says here, Ripple acquired Treasury in October of 2025 for about $1 billion. The platform handles around 13 trillion in annual payment volume for its corporate clients from SMEs to Fortune 500 companies, primarily through traditional rails like FedNow, Swift, and correspondent banks. Ripple rebranded it as Ripple Treasury and has started integrating digital asset capabilities. As of April 1st, 2026 launch, the platform's thousands of customers can now hold RLUSD and XRP directly inside the system via native digital asset accounts. These balances appear alongside their fiat cash in the same dashboard, with real-time valuations and automated reconciliation. No separate wallets or third-party custody required for the native accounts. Corporates can create and manage these Ripple native digital assets accounts holding XRP and RLUSD straight in the dashboard they already use for traditional cash management. So when does actual XRPL utilization kick in? Ripple Treasury is in the process of integrating deeper connections with Ripple payments, including ODL-style mechanisms and XRPL settlements into customer dashboard. Once live, this will let client optionally select Ripple's blockchain rails to settle portions of the massive 13 trillion annual payment volume, potentially much faster and cheaper than legacy networks. Right now, Ripple Treasury continues to support payments over established networks like Swift, but he guesses that we'll see Ripple network-based payment options enabled sometime in the third quarter of 2026, though no official date has been confirmed. That's when we should start seeing at least some of the 13 trillion volume beginning to ramp up on XRPL and related liquidity mechanisms. A lot of the criticism right now about XRPL is there's not a lot of traffic on it. But potentially, again, not all the 13 trillion is going to go on to XRPL all at once, but we could see a significant amount if customers see that it's a lot faster, it's a lot cheaper, then they will use it, okay? And that potentially could, once we see numbers and customers will see that the numbers are good and then it works fast and cheap, then you'll get more and more and more customers, and that could potentially affect XRP. Now, let's move on. That is the potential that could help XRP, right? And it could push the price of XRP up. Now, Vincent also gave a price prediction for 2035. Before we get to that prediction, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only. Not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. Okay. I do not know what the price is going to be. This is a speculation. This is a prediction of trying to figure out what it's going to be. So he says here, let me go to the other side. He says XRP could hit $500+ by 2035. Now, this is not one of these, people that were saying triple digits by the end of 2025. Remember those people? No, that's not this, but this is talking about almost 10 years from now. This is not clickbait, right? But by the way, thousands of you will always ask him price predictions, and also me. You always ask me in the comment section, what are you we're going to see, right? And I always say, hey, let's go shwaya, slowly. Let's get through the levels. Let's get past 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 100, and potentially 500 in 10 years from now. He has been running very deep LLM study of the XRP ecosystem. It factors in many variables and parameters, and he have used Grok primarily for this. It is quite intuitive, And he has used it to come up with price prediction for XRP for the next 10 years. Now, these numbers come with a big caveat. They are numbers based on things going to plan with Ripple acquisitions, Clarity Act, US policy on crypto remaining positive, XRP successful deployment of quantum proofing, which we talked about this week, etc. It also looks at emerging trends in AI, micropayments, neobanks, non-bank DeFi, etc. So it's quite broad, and it's amazing. After this exercise, it has cemented in his mind the long-term 40 chess strategy that Ripple is playing out. They are truly genius. Hats off. But from his engineering brain, he says, and from the knowledge of XRP, XRPL, and Ripple, he sees this AI analysis as making sense. He remains impartial as to whether they are going to happen or not, and he's too objective to take a side, but he hopes many hours of toying with this will be, if anything, entertaining. Now, to be clear, that he's prepared to take the abuse from the people that's that looking at this and reminding you that this is AI analysis. He's already going and saying, "Hey, this could potentially not happen." Of course. So here's the kind of timeline for what could potentially come. So it's kind of small, so I'll help us out here. It says 2026, potentially $6 to $10. Estimated annual on-chain bridge volume, 400 billion to 800 billion. And these are the key optimistic drivers to why we're getting this price prediction. Clarity Act passage provides regulatory tailwinds. Early Treasury migrated accelerants, 1 to 3% of that 13 trillion pipeline. ODL continues strong growth. Initial liquidity pools seeding 5 to 10 core pairs RLUSD XRP plus key corridors begin with escrow RLUSD support. That's for 2026. 2027, we got 15 to 30, a 1.2 trillion to 2.5 trillion. Permission DEX attracts institutional LPs. RLUSD expansion boosts demand for XRP neutral bridging in APAC non-USD flows. Corporate operational holdings as working capital grown, proven ROI in live treasury flows. So for 2028, we're talking about 35 to 70. Would you be happy if in 2028 we'd be at $70 for XRP? I think a lot of you would be. That's about a 70x, give or take, from right now. I think a lot of you would be very happy with that. Network effects in high frequency flows, AMM depth reaches institutional scale in top corridors, better slippage management, and so on and so on. There's a lot of things that are happening here. I'll link to this picture right in the description down below. It's kind of hard to see. So I don't want to just read that whole thing, but the conclusion is, right, maturity in XRP, fintech, sustained growth in emerging markets, XRP becomes default neutral bridge in many high frequency global workflows, price support limits perception in core pairs, and then in 2035, potentially 400 to 650 plus, mid 500. It says long-term equilibrium, meaningful share of global cross-border liquidity bridging layer, dollar value depth from committed XRP via higher price plus locked holdings delivers low slippage performance at scale. So potentially we could see all of these things happening, but of course this is a utopia. This is a best case scenario. This everything works accordingly, and every single year the price of XRP is rising. We know that history tells us that usually assets don't go up like this in a straight line where every single year it goes up, although there is a little bit of slippage. You can see, for example, 2016 is 6 to 10, and then you have 15 to 30, 35 to 70, but then a pullback in 2029, 60 to 120, a jump, and then a pullback, for example, here in 2031 from 200 to 150. So it's not in a straight line. There are some pullbacks, but it will be very interesting to see if this plays out in the future. Let me know in the comment section, do you think all of this will happen? Everything will be perfect, or will there be bumps along the way, all right? My opinion, again, this is just my opinion, there's gonna be bumps. It's not gonna be this easy. If we get to these potential values, I think I would be very, very happy, but I'm still a little bit, I don't wanna say pessimistic because I'm an optimistic person by nature, but these are very high values and low probabilities right now. Maybe in the future, maybe by 2028, we talk different. But right now, I think this is a little bit high, for 2035. But again, anything can happen. Let me know what you think in the description down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.